Hey everybody, welcome to Journey to Wellness. That's an awful way to start. Excuse me. Tonight our guest will be, or my guest will be, or yours, I guess I could say ours, Dr. Melanie Barton-Bragg. And with Mercury Retro beginning right now, we got Dr. Melanie just popped right on. Good job, yay! Okay, so with Mercury Retro happening right now, it's really, really important to release and watch your words and all that. So we're going to be talking about all of these things this evening. The power of your thoughts and words, releasing negativity, releasing anything that doesn't serve you anymore, how to manifest, the importance of how you think and say things. All of these things are going to be discussed this evening, along with how to meditate, the importance of breathing, not just during meditation, but at all times. We're also going to be teaching you how to construct a prayer wheel, or a Mary Poppins letter, as I call it. Dr. Melanie does a prayer wheel, and we're going to talk about how to construct that, and then actually use that prayer wheel to manifest the things that you're wanting in your life. So Dr. Melanie has contact information where you can reach her on Facebook or on her website, the drmelanieshow.com, which I put up in the comments. Hey, Trent, how are you? Missed you when you popped on. All right. For some reason, it was letting me add Melanie, and now it's not. Can't bring her on. Okay. Well, she's still watching somehow. And this time we have Bruno. Bruno is here to help with any technical difficulties we have. So I guess I'll talk until we get her brought back in here, because I've tagged her and I see that she's on here, but for some reason, I again can't bring her in. So I want everyone to start really watching how you talk about things, because when you say things like, I'll never be able to, do this. I'll never be able to have enough money to do this with my life. I'll never be able to retire. I'll never be able to buy the car I want. When you are constantly putting out negativity, that's what you're going to be bringing back to you. If you think you're happy on the inside, but your real emotions, your real truth inside is not happy and it's negative, that's what your energy is going to project outward. And that's what you're going to attract to you. A lot of times when you meet people and you guys are on the same wavelength, say you've lost a loved one, or you're going through a divorce, or maybe you're getting married or having a baby, and you're going through these experiences, and that you attract people that are like-minded. And you want to continue doing that as you're going through your life, but you want to raise your vibrational level so that you're releasing and not continuing to attract toxic and negative. And that comes from your thoughts, that comes from your words, and it also comes from inside. And so, I'm not sure where Melanie is. It won't let you join. Melanie, go out and come back in. Always have problems with certain guests when we have our abilities and our gifts, and it interferes. So we'll wait for Melanie to pop back in here. I've been doing a lot of manifesting myself over the last several years. I mean, I said I am healed for 4 years, and almost 4 years. And I was finally in wellness. Actually, this week marked my 1 year wellness anniversary. So now I'm embarking on the second year of this journey, and continuing to get stronger and feel better, and I celebrated by going and taking a free dance class. I said I was going to put my dancing shoes back on, and I did. So the power of your words, it may not happen right away. The timing is not always your timing. It's in divine timing. So manifesting. Hey, Ross. Hey, Jessica. We're trying to get Melanie in here. She was in here, and I don't know where she went. Bruno's in the house, though, so he's help them with all of our technical issues. So I was getting back to talking about the importance of what, like I myself saying I am healed, and then all of the things that I've been trying to actively attract to me daily. I do this through meditation. I do this through what I call Mary Poppins letter, whereas Melanie uses a prayer wheel. I've done a prayer wheel with her as well, and I have completed some things on the prayer wheel. So once you start completing things on the prayer wheel, you can either make another one and continue to put things on there with projected dates. That's the important thing, is if you write a Mary Poppins letter, you do a prayer wheel, is that you have dates on there of when you want these things to be accomplished. Then when you go through the meditation with the prayer wheel or the letter, you're actually envisioning this happening, and you're asking yourself questions, or if you're doing a guided meditation with myself or someone like Dr. Melanie, then we can ask you questions. You know, if it's something that you're wanting to attract to, like financially, you can say, okay, at this time next year, what amount do you see in your bank account when everything is paid for? And the first thing that comes to your mind during the meditation is a projected amount of what you will have. And then you can see over the course of time, as long as you're actively doing things to bring these things to you, should transpire. So I know that some of the things on my prayer wheel have already happened, and they're pretty significant. And I'm waiting for Melanie to get in here so I can talk about all this. Bruno, she'll be right back. Okay. Hey, Jessica. How are you, honey? I saw the pictures of you guys, you and Sam, when you went to his work party. It looked really cool. You guys were all dressed up. It looked nice. So if you guys have questions while we're doing this live, hey, Ross, how are you? If you have questions during the live, once we get Melanie in here, be sure to type your questions in. I don't always see the questions right away. Sometimes I don't see them till after the live, and I apologize for that, but that's Facebook, so it's a joy of doing that. What I'd like to start doing is doing my lives on YouTube, and but I've got to get 1,000 subscribers before I can go live on there. But I'm gonna start putting videos on there. And just like when I do pop-up lives on here, I'm going to start doing videos for YouTube, and you guys can subscribe and see what I put on there. So it'll be interesting. And Melanie's going to do the same thing. So Ross, how are you doing how are you liking all of the meditation videos and all of that? Are you having any progress? Ross has a very interesting story. Who's been struck by lightning 3 times. And he has gifts as well. And so he's trying to get those gifts back. They seem to have left him after he was struck by lightning almost 22 years ago, or over 22 years ago. So it's a very interesting story. And he's a really nice man. So I'm glad you're on here watching. We just got to get Melanie in here. She was in here. So, I guess I can talk to you about, while we're waiting for Melanie, I can talk to you about the importance of breathing during meditation. And actually not just during meditation, but throughout your entire day. If you do not take in deep breaths, and you're going around because you're stressed and you're worried and you're running here and there, you hold your breath, that puts your body in a fight or flight response. And holding your breath and doing shallow breathing actually affects your immune system. It decreases your immunity. It affects you neurologically, cognitively. It affects many, many different things. Taking nice, deep breaths in and releasing is a way to calm yourself down, first of all, a way to release anxiety, a way to get you in a nice state. Hey, Kim, how are you doing? What are we saying here? Ross, I think I'm having some progress. I've been working on it hard. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Ross. I'm glad that you're seeing some progress. Hey, Kim, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you for a while, girl. Where you been? So, then I get sidetracked with what I was talking about. Plus, I'm thinking in my head, where's Melanie? Where did she go? She's back. So let's see if I can get her added on here. It didn't show her popping up. That's the thing with Facebook. I don't know who watches. I can't always see the comments right away. Usually afterwards, I have to go through and see what people commented. Sometimes it'll do it during, sometimes it won't. So Melanie, I'm adding you right now, so accept it. And if this doesn't work, then you're going to have to ask to be invited in to the live. And I know Bruno's trying to help you on your end. So it's always fun when I'm trying. I don't want to talk about too many things that Melanie and I were going to talk about because that's why I'm having her on here. So there's a second person to validate and back up the things that I say. And her. So we both work with people. It says it's adding. Hey, Shay, how are you, girl? Well, it says it won't let Melanie come on. Bruno's working on it. Bruno. Shay, how are you doing, girl? How you feeling? Shay's been on my lives before when we do readings, and she's going to start doing her own lives, so watch for that. She has a page. I can't remember what it's called. Something mosaic. Peace mosaic. Mosaic peace. Mosaic heart. Type it in, Shay. Shay's going to start doing her readings on there. So, and I love the way she does her readings, because when she reads for someone, she's able to she videos it and she pulls the cards, and you don't have to ask any questions or anything. And she videos it and she tells you exactly what is going on in your life, what's going to happen. She's very detailed and she is very, very good and highly recommended by me. So, Dr. Melanie, where are you? I'm inviting you in again, Melanie. Let's get you in here. And of course, I'm upstairs, so I have no idea what's going on downstairs. Oh, it says it's connecting. Ah,
Yay.
there you are.
All right. Let me undo all this. Okay. Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
I knew Bruno had to be helping.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
Well,
It only took us less than an hour this time.
no, it actually only took, because I got on a little bit, like a minute or two after 9, so it was less time this time, because last time it was an hour. It was an hour trying to get you on. So
and
we're doing
even
good.
with Mercury in retrograde, this is better.
Yes, that's true. So it's just the gray days right now. So welcome, Dr. Melanie, to Journey to Wellness.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on here. I was waiting for you to get on. I was kind of going over the things that we're going to talk about. And so I'd like for you to reiterate what I said about the power of your thoughts and words, what you put out there and how you're feeling inside. All of that is so important with what we're going to talk about tonight. So you want to start there?
Mm-hmm. Sure. There's two researchers that have done extensive research on the power of words. One of them is Dr. Emoto, where he talked to the water crystals, and you could actually see the change in the water depending on how you talk to them.
Yes.
So negative talking turns the crystals brown,
Right.
and positive talking makes them do what they're supposed to.
Right.
And Dr. Carolyn Leaf, who is a neurobiologist, a Christian neurobiologist, she did an experiment with researchers in her lab where she had them look at, under a microscope, the genes about to express themselves. And she said, now talk negatively to them. They did. And then she said, notice what happens when they came back out. They said, well, what happened is they shriveled up and got ready to die.
Right.
And she said, now go back in and talk positively. So they did, and they plumped up and got ready to express themselves. She brought them out and she said, tell me what happened. They did. And she said, what you didn't know, in this other room, there was a video camera and a microphone that it recorded everything you did and watched the video to see what happened. So the words that they said in the other room, even when it wasn't directly in front of it,
Right.
negatively affected the genes under that microscope.
And
So
that's amazing.
so what her research showed that 21 days worth of positive thinking can actually increase your neuron, your brain cells,
Mm-hmm.
and that negative talk can actually shut them down, turn them brown, make them
Right.
die. So how we talk can affect our health, can affect the outcome, can affect relationships, can
Mm-hmm.
affect everything. Even we can talk about the effect on hurricanes. You want to talk about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Well, I want to say too that I had a thought there with one of the things you told me to do when I'm not trying, when I am manifesting and bringing things to me where I'm speaking positively, if there's someone around you that says, well, that's never going to happen, or you're not going to be able to do that, or do you really think you're going to be able to succeed with that? You told me to say cancel, cancel, cancel.
Exactly.
And that cancels out what they did, and it still keeps your positive vibe going, because otherwise, if you
Mm-hmm.
just leave it out there, it will wash it away.
Mm-hmm. If you've ever had Carolyn photography done on you, it shows your aura
Yeah.
and it shows, how spiritual you are and how much negativity you have connected to you. Well, if you did that under that camera and have people talk negatively you and watch the colors change of your energy around your
Right.
body, you would visibly see what happens.
Right.
So when you're canceling, you're clipping the connection of that energy to you.
Right. And that's the importance. But yeah, we can talk about what we did with the hurricane, especially with one coming this weekend. It's not a hurricane. Well, it may be. I don't know. It's a tropical storm, but it's with Hurricane Dorian. So
Mm-hmm.
we did a group meditation. Dr. Melanie invited me to be with her and some others, and we did a meditation where we were pushing the storm out to sea, and we were imagining it just going away and staying away from the entire United States seaboard, all the way from Florida all the way up to the northeastern part. And so that's what we worked on for. We were doing it. Well, we were doing it like every hour. We were doing a group
Mm-hmm.
meditation. A couple times we did it on the phone, and
Once we
it
did in person.
yes, once we did in person. So, but it wasn't just us doing it. I mean,
No.
there was people all over the place doing it that have
Mm-hmm.
gifts and abilities like we do. So all of us doing that, I believe, kept it out. Now,
Tell us
unfortunately,
what happened within an hour after we did the first one. We did
oh
it at
yes,
3 o'clock on that Sunday afternoon when it
yeah,
was headed. Now, we have to state we didn't get to it before it hit the Bahamas.
right.
We didn't have this group meditation. So I don't know if it would have made a difference or not.
I know. I wonder about that too. But what happened after an hour after we'd done the group meditation, the storm had shifted. It had moved to the east. And it was a significant move. So, I
And it
mean,
was downgraded.
yes, it was downgraded as well. So I, and we continued to do it, and it continued to shift and to move out. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know there, and I saw many videos. Some people had sent me some things where they're like, "Did you know? Do you know this woman? She's doing the same thing you guys are." So it's like all of us. It's the power of your thoughts, the power of everyone coming together as one, and achieving the same thing, whether you're working with them or not. It's still that power of positivity is so much greater. Now, if we would have all just been like, well, it's going to hit and we might as well just, prepare for the worst and hope for the best, then that's exactly what would have happened.
Right.
So,
They did studies back in the 70s and a couple of studies. One of the studies was they took athletes and altered their eating habits and tried to convince them that altering their eating habits was going to help them with their career, with being, I think they were all runners. The result was they all became obsessed with the calories they were eating, and
Mm-hmm.
they had to stop the experiment because it changed their brain, and
Right.
they never again went back to normal. So
Right.
how you think can affect you for the rest of your life.
It's
The
true.
other study they did is they had a mock situation where they had a fake prison with fake prison guards.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was the people who were the prisoners took on the role of being the prisoner, and the body and the brain don't know the difference between reality and a simulation.
Right.
And they had to stop that experiment because the guards got so into what they were doing that it was negatively affecting the prisoners, the fake
Well,
prisoners.
and that, I mean, this can even be true. Like, I know people that were police officers that were undercover, and they were deep undercover, and it was affecting, it started to affect their life. When they do something for so long, you start to adapt to the environment and everything that you're in. So, all of that, I mean, that has people don't understand the significance and the importance of not just your thoughts and your actions and your words, but your environment, the people that are around you, who you allow to be around you. People think, well, it's my family. I have to have them around. No, you don't. If they're
No.
toxic and they're not good for you, then you must learn to release them. It doesn't mean that you like don't ever have contact with them again, but you learn how to keep people at a safe distance so that
Mm-hmm.
they do not affect you negatively. Or if you're in that environment and you can feel it because you've got your vibrational level weight raised high enough and you notice it, you only can tolerate that kind of environment for so long before you've got to get out. And the thing is when you feel uncomfortable, just excuse yourself and leave.
Yeah.
So,
You don't even have to have a reason.
um,
And
is your is Beth Shank your sister?
yes.
She's watching from Virginia.
Hey,
Virginia.
Bethy.
She says she's looking
It
good.
is her birthday on Saturday,
Oh, happy
right?
birthday,
Let's
Beth.
see. No, today's 17th. Her birthday's the 19th. So happy birthday,
Okay.
Bethy.
Yeah, happy birthday. Awesome. Mom said she saw a movie about that, what we were talking about earlier
Uh-huh.
with um I guess the experiments.
There's
Facebook is
also,
so crazy with how it will give me the comments after we've already talked about something. So,
uh-huh. Another experiment was called the Maharishi effect. I think it was Rochester, New York that they
yeah.
did it. They had monks, Buddhist monks, who came and meditated without telling the neighborhood, and
Yeah.
they meditated about peace and calm. And the result was the crime rate went down significantly in that area for that length of time. And people didn't know they were there.
Yeah. That's
So if we do that as a combined group of people consciously connecting with one another to have peace throughout the whole world, watch what can happen.
exactly. Exactly. If people would stop worrying so much about others and concentrate on themselves and how they're behaving and their thoughts and actions, there would be a significant shift and change. There's a significant shift happening now in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I can sense it. There's people that they're going through awakenings, which we've talked about this before. Spiritual awakenings are not a fun thing to go through. They're a
No.
huge transformation, but it's a necessary transformation for you to raise your vibrational level and to keep learning and ascending where you're supposed to go. But it seems that there's a ton of people right now going through this. Now, it happens to be coinciding with Mercury retro, which in July, this past July, a lot of people had the same thing happen. A lot of people were going through what they thought was everything was falling apart, but really things are coming together. So, what are your thoughts on that with Mercury and all?
My thoughts are that sometimes you got to have pruning in your life
Mm-hmm.
in order to go forth. I, 10 years ago, went through the dark night of my soul when I was going through a divorce, when I had cancer, when I had Lyme disease, when I had 5 minor strokes.
Right.
And I looked at that rather than it's a time of, oh my gosh, my world has come to an end. It's like, okay, let's go back to square one and see what I want to do. Do I want to keep this person in my life? Is that helping me? Is that nourishing me? Do I want to keep going to this recovery meeting or that recovery meeting? Do I still want to do this kind of work? Do I want to have my hair color different? Do I want to wear a different style of clothes?
Right.
Do I want to have a different personality? So I got to choose. So rather than looking at it, oh my gosh, my whole life has come to an end. It's like, okay, let's sit back, hibernate, figure out what I want to do,
Right.
and then choose.
It is an ending, but with an ending is always a new beginning. So,
Mm-hmm.
and when you have those big endings like that, or you have, major health crises like you had, and I've had, like, those are times, especially where you go into, I call it the hermit phase, where you go within to heal, to figure out you again, figure out where you're going, where you want to go, all of that. And you're right. And that can happen many times in your life, not just,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it seems like it all happens at once with us at significant points. But if you look back over your life, there was probably different periods where things happened like that. And you just didn't realize at the time that you were going, you know, through a spiritual awakening at that, at that
Mine go
point.
through a cycle every 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that.
I have noticed mine, I just finished a 6-year cycle. So I've been evaluating that. I'm like, so what has happened? Like, was there pivotal points? Now, it would seem like for a while there, it was every holiday season, there was always this big, like, it was like walking on an eggshell kind of thing. And, but then that's went away. That hasn't
Mm-hmm.
happened for many years. So, but I feel like I've had the 6-year cycle with my health, but then the other stuff, so was more like a 9-year cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I
I
have
I don't know.
I have learned that you have to be able to be alone without being lonely. Because if
Yes.
you cannot be alone with yourself, you're not going to be able to be with anybody else.
No. You have to be happy with yourself first, and that means true inner happiness. That means where you can go anywhere and enjoy whatever activity you're doing, or just being by yourself at home, just whatever you're doing. Totally being alone. Because if you, I would rather be alone and happy than miserable and with someone. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I have consciously spent 2 Thanksgivings alone on purpose
Hmm.
so that I could have some quality time and eat what I wanted, not have to have the family arguments, and eat it in my pajamas and watch Christmas movies. And I was
Yeah,
entirely happy.
right. See? And that is like true inner peace. When you can come to that, where you have that, where you are grounded and you are truly happy, you can do those things. There's no guilt. There's no
Hmm.
nothing.
Right.
It's about you, and you don't have to make explanations or say you're sorry or anything else. It's just like, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm feeling, and you own it and you do it.
Yeah.
So with that, so we are talking about the power of your thoughts and words. Um, right now are the gray days of Mercury retro, so it's very important. I feel, with my intuitiveness, I feel that this Mercury retro in particular, for this year and prior, like, this is going to set the tone going into next year with releasing, like, what I call a full release. So if you're hanging on to anything, like, normally we do spring cleaning, I feel like everybody should be
Hmm.
doing spring cleaning now, with, like, cleaning out anything that doesn't serve you. If you haven't used it or worn it or looked at it in the last year, throw it out, donate it, get rid of it, whatever. If it has negative memories attached to it, get rid of it. That's
Hmm.
releasing. That's like a full release of everything. Sentimental value, if it's a toxic situation that you were in or toxic person, I believe holding on to those things is holding on to that energy, and it can still affect
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
agree.
I do agree. Yes. Yes. I have a sign that says, it's over my desk. It says, have I used it in the last 6 months? Would I have to replace it if I got rid of it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it outdated and I'd have to get an upgrade? Is there somebody else that could use it better than me?
Right.
And what's the reason I'm holding on to it? And so when I have something that I've had for 30 years, it's like, why do I still have this?
Right.
And a lot of times it's because of habit, because I've moved it 20 times and I just,
Right.
it goes here. Why? I don't know. It just goes there. So
So if you give things away that have a toxic or a negative energy affecting you, do you do a cleanse over those items before you give them? Okay.
I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
me
yes,
too.
yes, yes. I don't want anything negative to
No.
come through me to somebody else. No,
So what is
no.
your cleansing technique? Because I have mine. I want to see what yours is.
Well, I don't have it sitting in front of me, but I can walk and get it. I do muscle testing.
Okay.
I ask, does this thing or this person or this article have some negativity attached to it?
Mm-hmm.
I had my grandmother's earrings, my mom's earrings that I've had since I was a child. I could never wear them because they were always full of negative energy. So I made the decision, my sister's an artist, maybe she could use them in her artwork. So I put them in my hands and I prayed over them and I did a cleansing on them with either sage or anointed them with oil and then
Right.
said, okay, are they cleansed now? And then I muscle test to see, are they free of the negative energy? And then I would give it away.
So let's tell people. I want to talk about the meeting because I wasn't able to go this month, but last month Melanie and we go to a meeting for people that are gifted like us, that's had near death experiences, that are experiencers with MUFON and extraterrestrials, angels, all of that. There's all different people that come. Now, this last time that we went, this is how you can tell if there's negative energy around. I was sitting in the back of the room, and Melanie and Denise, you all remember Denise was on here as well, they were sitting up towards the front of the room. Back by me, there was some kind of, I don't know, there was one or two people. And I wish Melanie had went around with her pendulum to see if anybody was negative.
Steve has told me I have to do that at all
You
future
do.
meetings.
I was
Yeah.
actually nervous to go this month because Kevin asked me if I was going to go. And I'm like, I don't know, because I was going to maybe do an event. I had something else going on. And I said, I don't know. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I don't want to go in there because I physically got sick to my stomach, nauseous. And so did Melanie. And Denise
And
wasn't
so
feeling
did,
well either.
right.
So we're vibrating higher. So we're picking up on the negative toxic energy in there. There was also a very strange odor in the back of the room where I was. Now, again, I feel like it was more than one person that was there. Like there was one on the other side of the room to my right, and then I was along the back wall. I didn't feel there was any negativity where you guys were sitting at your table, but there definitely was. And I left. That's where you encounter a situation like that. And I had another meeting to go to anyway, but I left earlier than I anticipated because I was feeling so nauseous. I'm like, I told Melanie, I'm like, I can't handle it anymore. I got to go. So,
And I was having the same response and I kept falling asleep.
yeah.
And when I fall asleep, that's an indicator I need to get out of wherever I am.
So
Because it's shutting me down so that I don't pick up the negativity. And I couldn't leave. It was a 4-hour drive home.
yeah. Yeah, and you were having some other health issues going on at the time too. So did you and Denise ride together that day? You didn't, did you?
No, we
Okay.
drove separate.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so you guys stayed and I got out there. And after I got out of there, I went to my happy place at Whole Foods and got me some celery juice and walked around and I started feeling better. And then I went on to my meeting where I was gonna go in to meet someone. So but that's just an example of how when you encounter that energy, and it could be in that kind of situation, or it could just be where you're feeling somebody's rubbing you the wrong way. Your nerves just kind of feel like you have the sandpaper kind of feel to them. That is where your energy is not meshing with someone else. Just politely remove yourself. You don't have to go into a whole thing, oh, there's something negative in here or whatever. You just leave.
No, but what I'll do next time is I will check the room first before anybody comes in.
Well,
to see
that,
if
and
there's
then,
something left over.
yeah, and then check. Did you go this time?
No,
Did you
I
go
did
last
not.
Saturday? Okay. Um, so I think Kevin was going, so we'll have to ask him.
We'll have to ask.
But I think that when everyone's situated in there, I think that you should go around and make sure everyone's clear. It would be interesting to see if they come back. So
Usually they don't.
yeah. Well, since we're putting it out there that we're gonna check, and
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna we're
yeah.
gonna bust the negative energy and just tell them, I'm sorry, but you need to leave, not us.
Well, I can detach the negative energy from a person who doesn't know that it's attached to them, but I can't do it without their permission.
Right. Well, and if someone's there with ill intent as well, is which what we felt there was a person there, I don't even know how you would begin to remove someone like that.
I remove me.
Right. I mean, we would leave, but like,
Yeah, yeah. What people don't understand is that negative energy can affect you physically. It can affect your
Yes.
heart rhythm.
Hmm.
In my doctoral dissertation, I quoted a study of Cape Canaveral of engineers who got laid off after the successful launches. There wasn't any work. And a number of those people laid off had sudden cardiac arrest and died. They'd
Oh,
never had
wow.
any heart trouble before, but it was because of the stress
Yeah.
of not having a job and not having a place to use their skills.
Right.
And a lot of the managers also died of sudden cardiac arrest for the
Oh,
same
wow.
reason. So
That's
that
crazy.
negativity can affect you physically. Within 7 minutes of being exposed to a stressor, your catecholamines, stress hormones can be emitted into your bloodstream, and your heart muscle can begin to quiver and fail
Right.
within 7 minutes. So you think about people in family settings who are every day around family members that are toxic to them,
Right.
it's shortening their life.
Yes. Yeah, it is. So think of it that way. If you want to live longer and healthier,
Yeah,
avoid toxic and negative
yeah,
people and situations. We can't avoid all negative. Let's just put that out there. We can't avoid all negative situations and people, but you can learn to how, with your working on yourself, you can learn to you can learn to block, and so that it doesn't affect you. And because I mean, some people have jobs and stuff where there's negative people around, and you have to learn how to work with that. But there is a balancing of it, so
hmm
it is possible.
it is possible. And every person, their body will tell them a certain way, this is not good for you. For me, it's my bladder because I have a bladder disease and I also have colon issues. So when I come in contact with a negative situation, I will first it's like somebody stabbing me in the gut.
Right.
And that's my body's way of saying, this is not good for you. And then if I recognize that I'm angry or I'm scared or I'm upset, then I can deal with it. But if I don't, then my body's going to continue to cause me pain and it's trying to tell me, get out of there.
Right. Well, and some people get headaches when they're
Yeah.
around, there's many different things. So you have to know your body, be in tune with your body, and adjust accordingly. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I feel it where I feel sick to my stomach. I feel that sandpaper feeling. And sometimes, like, if I'm not paying attention, where I'm not listening to it, then I get knocked on the head with a headache. It's
Uh-huh.
like, get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So Gidget says that she is surrounded by it at work. I just keep on smiling and singing. It does not always work, but and that's true. I mean, as long as you keep your positive up, but you can learn to protect yourself with,
Yeah.
like Melanie and I, we have different ways that we protect our energy and protect ourselves. I always have myself in golden light and like a golden bubble of protection. I imagine like a shield is around me. And I've actually had people recently tell me that they have felt my shield and that it's been like a guarded, protective kind of shield. And they knew better than to to read my energy or to touch my hand or anything, because they were told by their guides, don't touch
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
thought was so cool.
And for me, I tell people plant your feet like a redwood tree deep into
Yes.
the earth. Cover yourself with an invisible bubble or an invisible raincoat that's repellent.
Yes.
so that nothing can penetrate. And if people do get to you, you do the clip. You clip like scissors.
Yes.
Cancel, 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 clip, clip, clip. So when you walk out of work, you leave all that behind.
Exactly. Well, and before you even go into work, I used to do that because I had an environment that it was, and I was like, okay, I got to protect. And plus, if you work, we have abilities like we do, and you're exposed to all different types of energy from customers and your coworkers and all of that. You've got to protect yourself before you enter the building so that you're protected. So I think perhaps maybe we should talk about that as well. How people could say, how do I begin to do that? How can Tell me if you believe this is the thought process. This is my thought process. As you're protecting yourself, you still have to work on releasing the toxic and negativity within you, because otherwise you're going to put yourself in a shield where you have negative inside, and you're not going to allow what you want. The point of it is to be positive and vibrating high, have your shield up to protect you from the negative, and you have I always say, like a line in the sand for your boundaries, and that energy, that negative energy, knows not to cross it, and you recognize it more quickly. Is that true?
Yes, there's a exercise you can do that helps with that. And I'll demonstrate, but I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. So you're
Okay.
going to put your hands,
Okay.
you're going to put,
I want to try.
I can send a picture later, but you
Okay.
cross
Thank
your
you.
arms
Okay.
and you put your hands together like that. And
Okay.
then you're going to bring them into your chest
Oh, okay.
like that.
And
Okay. And you're going to cross your left ankle over your right.
oh, I got the wrong leg crossed. Okay.
Okay. You're going to
I need to
breathe.
move my phone.
Okay.
Go ahead. Keep
You're
talking.
going to breathe in through your nose with your tongue at the roof of your mouth. So breathe in. And then open your mouth, put your tongue at the bottom of your mouth, and breathe out. Breathe in with your tongue at the top. Breathe out with your tongue at the bottom. Breathe in with your tongue at the top. Breathe out with your tongue at the bottom. In at the top, out at the bottom. In at the top, out at the bottom. Okay, so what this exercise does is it is a brain balancing technique.
Okay.
And you're breathing out the negativity and you're
Okay.
breathing in the cleansing breath. So it's a cleansing of the negativity.
That makes sense. And as I was doing that, I don't know if anybody else was doing it with us, I was feeling like a release, and I was feeling it all the way down to my feet. I was feeling it, just a calming, and just like it was a full release. So,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're doing this every day, if you're doing the meditation, if you're doing a release, you're doing your breathing, because I was explaining before you came on about the importance of breathing properly, because so many people shallow breathe, or they hold their breath, so they keep their body in that fight or flight mode, and that makes them more susceptible to getting sick, more susceptible to getting chronic, like diseases, illnesses, heart attacks, strokes, all of that stuff neurologically, cognitively affects everything in your body. So those nice deep breaths and just breathing normally like that. It's not like you have to make sure you're doing, deep breaths in and out all the time, but just not a shallow breath. And or holding your breath. And I've
Mm-hmm.
been guilty of that. I'm sure we all have. But once you recognize it, you can start to feel inside, when you're breathing properly, that you're more calm. You're more,
Yeah.
even during stressful times. So,
And what I tell people is to go in the restroom at work and go do that exercise.
yeah.
And then there's a tapping exercise you can do. I'm going to demonstrate it. And then if they want me to post it, you tap 7 times under your left eye. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Under your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Under your lip, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Under your left arm, right there at the breastbone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then the right collarbone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What that does is it lowers anxiety and stress. So under the left eye, under the nose, under the lip, left arm, right collarbone.
Yeah, we're going to have you write that down.
Yeah. The important thing is 7 taps.
Yes. And what's the important and the significance with the 7?
The 7 has to do with your counting, and every vibration and sound has an effect on your body.
Okay.
And doing a certain number of verbal vibrations unstucks the brain from the spot of being anxious.
Okay. I'm trying to write this down. It was left eye, under your nose, on your chin,
Under your lip. Under your lip.
Oh, you're under your lip. Okay.
Under your left arm.
Left arm. And
then the right collarbone.
Right collarbone. It's kind of like the hokey pokey.
It is. But it really works.
It does. Because I did feel like I felt more calming or whatever. So I mean, even like with us where we meditate and we keep ourselves, we still go through stressful times or we have busy days, and it's important to do that. Even when you think that maybe you are calm or that you're, oh, I'm good right now. Even just me just doing that right now, I was like, oh, I had like a release. So that's good. That's showing that you can still need to do it even when you think you don't.
And it's the equivalent to taking a muscle relaxant or to take an anti-anxiety pill.
Yes. I love when I do meditation, especially if I do guided meditation, either with my clients or like when you and I do meditation. And I love when I do a meditation with you and Denise because it's so cool. The things that we all see and we're all doing, especially if we have a issue or two that we're working on. But I love how I feel afterwards because I have such a calming and relaxed feeling about myself, and I'm happier.
And you're alert.
Yes, and alert.
So you're calm and alert.
Okay, so we've got a couple questions here. Jenny's saying, how do we find the shield to help protect ourselves from the negative things and thoughts? Go ahead, Melanie, I'll let you answer.
Okay. You can use whatever visual that helps you. For me, it's a protective raincoat. For others, it might be an image of a shield. Whatever works for you. It's you get to create it.
I love Wonder Woman. I always have since I was a girl. So that's what I'm picturing myself as, like with Wonder Woman, but I'm picturing like it's God's light that's around me, the universe. The golden light is what I put. And I'm in a bubble of golden light. Oh, Kevin's watching. Hey, Kevin, we were just talking about
Kevin.
you. He popped on. So you have to, when I tell people, trying to teach them how to do a shield, like around themselves where they you can put any color light that speaks to you. It can be white, it can be blue, whatever color is speaking to you. But I tell people to hold their hand out and imagine putting their hand just in that color of light. And then, your arm, and then working up to where when you're starting to able to visualize it, then you can imagine putting your body in it. Then if you're wanting to send protection to someone, like when my kids would fly or they'd be going anywhere, I just put them in a bubble of light, the plane, building, whatever they were doing. So start out with your hands.
Which we're doing for Bruno on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just unconsciously do it. Like if I know, I'm like, oh yeah, I picture the plane and circle of light and I see them landing. So it's always
I also do Reiki on people,
right,
and situations.
Yes, which is a form of energy healing and works with your chakras, which are 7 main chakras, which we have more chakras than that, but the 7 main ones. So Gidget says that she goes to acupuncture. If she is under tons of stress, she goes every 2 weeks. Then I usually go 1 a month for maintenance. And that's perfect because that's with anything. If you want to do that with acupuncture, with massage therapy, with like any kind of like biofeedback or rife or, whatever works for you, a sauna, infrared sauna, anything that is like that, that's helping you maintain where you are. And if you don't go, or you're under a lot of stress, then you may need to go a little more for like a month or so, and then you'll be back on track. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, Kevin just said hi to us. It's always fun for him to be on. Um, so we've been like giving people a lot of really great information. Now, a lot of people will tell me this is what I want to talk about too. Manifesting. A lot of people say it's the secret. It's the law of attraction. It's the universe. It's bringing to you, and you have to feel that you deserve this in a positive way. Not, it's nothing to do with ego or arrogance. It's like being pure of heart with your intentions and your thoughts of what you're wanting to bring to you. We'd all like to have, multi-million dollar, well, I wouldn't really, but multi-million dollar home, or, something. People focus on the elaborate things. If you focus on what you truly need instead of what you want, which usually material things are wants, our needs are different. So if people would focus on that to start with manifesting, then that opens up a whole world to attracting other things to you just naturally. Do you believe that?
Well, yes and no.
Okay, explain.
Okay. We have to use language that says we already have what we
Yes,
need. Because if you say, I want, I will get, or in the future, it's never going to happen.
right.
It has to be, I am grateful that I have enough
Hmm.
food in my pantry,
Yes,
enough money in my wallet, so that you can see it as if it's already happened. That's how
yes,
you attract things to you. This is what athletes do. This is what prisoners of war do. They practice, 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 seeing it as if it had already taken place.
well, you see
So
it and
if
you
you
also
only,
speak it. You speak it as
yes,
well.
but if you only discuss your needs, you'll only get your needs met.
Okay.
You have to also acknowledge I have my needs met, and it's okay to want.
Yes.
And not only do I want, but I'm accepting that I already have.
But I guess my point in that was, and I was trying to get you to say, where is the line where it's crossing over um, into ego and into, because there's a lot of people, they're not understanding how to, or they feel it's selfish to ask for things, or there's a lot of questions that people have, and I'm wanting you to answer it to give your perspective on it.
It depends on your intention. Is it to nurture you and for your highest good, or is what you're wanting going to detract from somebody else having?
Right.
If you want what somebody else has, you might get it, but karmically, you're going to pay for that.
Exactly. And that's what I was wanting you to say. Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's always a balance. So,
Yes. Yes. Even though you don't want to accept it and you say, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, it'll happen.
and that's where we go back to the power of your thoughts and your words, and having the best of intentions with everything, because everything always balances out. And people will always say, oh, they'll get theirs. I don't worry about that personally. Other
No.
people, that's not me. I always say you keep your karma plate clean, and you don't worry about someone else's. If they do something to you, that's where you're in control of how you respond to that person or situation. A lot of times I choose to not do anything, and people may think that's me being passive. I'm not being passive. I'm just choosing not to engage, because there's nothing that I'm going to get out of it except negative. So why bother?
I say it's like a tug of war. If you
Yes.
don't pick up the rope, there won't be a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You walk away,
Exactly.
let them struggle by themselves and get drawn through the mud. I don't have to go through it with them.
Right. So we talked about your power of your words and your thoughts, releasing negativity, how to protect yourself, how to put your shield up. Talked a little bit about manifesting. This is all leading into your prayer wheel, or the meditate
Mhm.
with the meditation. Why don't you talk to us about that?
Okay. Back in 1974, I was involved in Amway, as a lot of people have been in their lifetime. The good that came out of that was a lot of the books they had us read were very positive, forward thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It shaped the rest of my life in a positive fashion. So the good that came out of that was well worth it. One of the books they had me read was Catherine Ponder's book about the principles of success. And in it, she talks about a prayer wheel. I know you can't see it very easily, but I have drawn a rough copy. There is one that's on my webpage.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the drmelanieshow.com. So if you
Yes.
go there to the resources, there is one you can download. But basically what it is it's a circle. And within that circle are 6 areas. So you've got your spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
your mental, your emotional, physical, financial, and social. And under each of those categories, you write down a goal. Let's just say spiritual. The goal might be that there is a book that I want to finish reading. So we'll say, I want to read the book that I've been telling you to read about the principles of success.
Yes.
Okay, I can't remember the author's name, but I would say I want to have the book Principles of Success read by December 15th. So I'd write in there under the spiritual Principles of Success by December 15th, 2019. So that would be my goal in the spiritual area because that's going to help me with my spiritual development. Under the mental category, I might say that
So I'm showing basically
okay.
what it looks like because I don't have them all
Okay.
written down. And I didn't want to bring mine up to show because you had said I'm not
No,
supposed
you
to.
don't bring
But
yours up.
you
You
don't
don't
show
bring
your
yours.
prayer wheel to
No,
anyone. You put
no.
it.
And I'll explain that. I've got
Yes.
my notes here that explain that. But
So this is a
so
pretend
for,
one.
okay. So for the mental category, it might be that I want to be alert in the afternoons when I'm working with my clients because that's my sleepy time.
Right.
So it would be by December, I don't know, 15th or November 15th. You either do it in 30, 60, or 90-day increments. So I would say by November 16th, I want to have found a healthy solution to being able to stay awake in the afternoons when I'm working with my clients.
Right.
So under the emotional category, I might put that I want to be in touch with my body when a toxic person comes into my field. I want to be able to recognize that quickly
Right.
and to do what I need to do. So that would be under the emotional, and I'd put a date, and that would probably be 90 days because it might take longer. Physically, it might be that I've got a physical ailment that I'm dealing with and I want it resolved, and I'd list it and I want it resolved by and put the date.
Now
The next,
let's stop for just a second because
okay?
people may not understand the significance of time frames because a lot of people are impatient and
Mm-hmm.
they may say, well, I can get this done in 2 weeks or 30 days. Some things are possible with that, but bigger things like some of these things that with emotional, spiritual, financial, physical things, they can take a little longer. Now with
Mm-hmm.
diligence you can bring that about, but be truthful when you put your date down on your prayer
Yeah,
wheel.
you have to be realistic
Right.
because even if you could accomplish something in 10 days, if you put the month, that's going to give you some leeway because part of this exercise is you're going to then ask yourself, how might I sabotage this?
Exactly.
And how can I counteract that sabotaging? So it might be that my goal is to read that book by December 15th. And the way I might sabotage it is that I might let other books and other commitments come in front of it because I don't feel that, it's going to serve me best right now, it might in the future. So then I'd have to, okay, so if that's the case, maybe this isn't the right goal for me.
Right.
Maybe I need to come up with a more realistic one that's going to serve me better.
Okay.
So, all right. So under each of these categories, we're now going to look at financially, it might be that I have a $10,000 credit card debt and I want to get it paid off. Well, you wouldn't put 90 days for that. That's too
Right.
far. So what you could put that would be realistic would be you could say in 90 days, I will have had consistently paid down on my debt X percent, and I will have not added anything new to my credit card bill. So you make it realistic. It might take you 2 years to pay off that $10,000.
Right.
But if you're not adding any more to it, it can be a realistic goal.
Right.
So that would be financial. Under the social, it might be I'm going to go out to the movies with a friend of mine somewhere in the next 60 days. And you don't have to specify what movie, but it's just the action of getting out. So you would list that under the social.
Okay.
So once you have each of these categories done, and you can go to the website again, it's the drmelanieshow.com. Go to a resource page, and you can download the sample of how to do this and the actual wheel.
It's
So
very
once
easy
you,
to find because I went on there today to do it to see.
good.
It is.
So once you have it all written down, it's very important to write it down, not just to have it in your head,
Right.
because the visual and the auditory is going to make a huge difference because the mind has to see it and believe it in order for it to happen. So you have to conceive it, believe it, and see it to have it happen.
Right.
So what you do once it's written down, then you spend about 30 seconds on each goal, and you picture that goal is already accomplished. So let's say with the financial goal, you can see in your mind the credit card statement. You see the $10,000, and then you see January 1 that your bill is down by $1,000, that you've paid off $331 a month for the next 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that you can keep doing that over the next couple of years. And so you feel good about that. You can feel the emotion. I'm doing this, and there's no new charges to my credit card. I'm doing it. And so by picturing it and feeling it, you are imprinting it into your brain and into your conscious mind that not only am I going to do this, I'm already doing this.
Right.
So you do that with each of them.
And
And
let's say this. Is there a limit to how many items you can put underneath each thing? Because some people may want to put like 6 things, and that's too many.
That's too many. I would rather have you concentrate on one that's a short term and one that's a long term under the category.
Okay.
But you don't want to get too intertwined with trying to do too much at one time, because
Right.
then your mind's going to get
Overwhelmed.
confused and you won't accomplish either one.
Right.
And there's no set time limit on this. I've been doing this modality since 1974. I've never, ever had one that didn't come about. It may have been different than I initially imagined it because circumstances changed.
Right.
Or I decided what I thought I wanted, I didn't want. And
Right.
so I let it go and did another goal. But I've never, ever had one not be accomplished.
Well, I've already had two or three completed. So it does work. But
Oh, yeah.
again, like you and I, where we can give you all the tools and information in the world, but if you don't utilize it and work it and put forth the effort, then it's never gonna
Right.
happen. So,
And I'm going to emphasize again, do not share this with anybody else.
Right.
Because unconsciously, their jealousy of, oh, you're going to accomplish that? Well, I want some of that. So that energy gets added on to your efforts.
Right.
So that you're dragging them with you.
Yes.
So
well, and they can cancel it out.
Yes. They might, know what your goal is and then make some negative statement about, oh, I guess you're not going to reach your goal then by that date, are you?
Right.
And that's stomping on your parade.
Their negative thoughts in their head, because like due to jealousy or whatever else, even if they don't speak it out, those thoughts can go out. And so that's why it's important to keep it private in your journal, somewhere where someone's not going to see it. And when you meditate on it and you focus on, it every day for 30 seconds for each thing, that you're doing that in a private setting where you feel completely relaxed and by yourself. So
The only caveat to that is if you're working with a mentor or a therapist who understands this process and will
right.
work with you to get it in the proper wording, that's okay.
Yes.
But after that, it's between you and your divine to
right.
work on that.
Exactly. And what I liked too is when we did my prayer wheel, where you did it with me, you then did a guided meditation with me after, and it was very powerful, the things that happened in that meditation. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that things are enhanced when you work with others that have abilities like you do. Well, we all have those abilities. It's whether you use that muscle, to strengthen it or not. But I'm always amazed with the things that you have me do or others do. And I'm always open-minded, but when they begin to work and I'm like, wow, that's really powerful.
If someone wants a session with me by Skype or phone to develop their prayer wheel, I will do that with them. And it doesn't take that long. It might be a one session to do that. And
Right.
if they want information, they can email me at drmelaniebarton@gmail.com. And then we can talk
Or
about what they need. Or if they have a question or
on
a comment.
Facebook. They can get you on Facebook
Yes,
as well.
yes, yes. But on Facebook, yes, you can contact me, but I won't talk to you about private stuff
Right.
openly. You'll have to do it on Messenger because
Right.
whether you like it or not, I consider the person to be a client.
Well,
If they've
yeah.
asked me a question, technically you're a client.
Right. And there's client uh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have.
confidentiality, all of that.
Right, right, right.
So once
Um,
they have completed the action and they realize that they completed the action, then they are to put the date in the prayer wheel that the action was completed.
because there's going to be days that you're going to feel discouraged, that
Yes.
this is never going to work. It's never going to happen. Well, if it's not happening, there might be a reason.
Right.
And you might need to consult with somebody like me to find out maybe it's the way you've written it, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it doesn't fit your situation anymore.
Right.
So,
Which
and
goes
if you
back to your
decide,
power of words.
yeah, if you decide things have switched and you don't need that goal anymore, or something better came along, it's okay to say, okay, because sometimes I'll put on my prayer wheel, no longer needed,
Right.
or something else, and
Right.
that's fine.
So how would you explain to people when they have completed a section on their prayer wheel? Do they need to make a whole new prayer wheel even when they haven't completed some of the other things on there? Or can they write a new goal on that same prayer wheel? How do you?
What I do is I create a new prayer wheel
Okay.
and I put in the category the things that are still in progress, but in that one area, I will add the new one
Okay.
because I don't want it tainted in the old one
Well, and then
by,
the old one is it's almost like you've emptied that. Like that's
yeah.
an empty thing. So you want to fill it back up so that the wheel is complete.
But you don't want to fill it with water from the bath you've already been in.
Right. Exactly. So that's why I was trying to get you to explain that part.
Yeah.
Um, so what else are we leaving out with the prayer wheel? I feel like
You
we are.
need to make sure that the language in the prayer wheel is positive.
Yes.
No no's. I
Right.
will not just say, about the financial thing there will be, um, I don't want to say the word no.
Well, like with me,
New charges will remain zero.
yeah. Or when you did the meditation with me, which I think that that's important to do that with the prayer wheel because it
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of seals it, like
it
it puts
does.
everything in place. Because like when we were talking about my financial thing, you said with me, you're like, okay, so this time next year, what amount is in your bank account with everything paid? And I had a number flash in my head, and I told you what it was, and you're like, okay. And so I just thought that was amazing that happens because I wasn't thinking of any numbers. That's the thing is when you're doing
Mm-hmm.
the meditation, your mind is perfectly clear. So that's I think, I don't know, there's just, this is a very, I did my Mary Poppins letter, but I also think that this is more like, you have long term, but it's also more short term things too. And it kind of gets you into that um, wave of thinking and
Hmm.
being more positive, and and when you start seeing how things are completed, or you're attracting more positive things to you, that's encouraging as well, and it makes you
Yeah.
want to move forward and help yourself, because you don't just help people with this, you help them with many different things, because you're a holistic
Hmm.
psychotherapist. You go to homes and you cleanse people. um, you
And buildings,
in building,
yes.
yeah, you do so many different things, and you go into churches. And one of the exciting things that's happening with Melanie is she has a book that's going to be coming out. You want to talk a little bit about your new book?
Sure. It is for lay people in churches,
Mm-hmm.
for them to be able to discern and detect and figure out and treat when the minister has a problem with either a sexual addiction or as a sexual predator. There is 55% of ministers on a weekly basis have a temptation to look at pornography. 1 in every 3 pastors cross boundary lines and have a relationship with somebody other than their spouse.
Right.
And so this is a guide to tell people how to determine if something's going on and how to deal with the problem and the aftermath and the victims. And do you involve law enforcement, attorneys?
Right.
Do you fire the person? All kinds of things. So it's just went to the final editors
Oh,
today,
that's
this
exciting.
evening. Yes, so they're getting it in proper format. So I'm hoping to have it out the first of the year.
Awesome. I feel it's going to be a great success. That's just my vision, that it's going to be a great success, and you're going to be going around, and because most people think, when they think about sexual predators in the church, they always, their mind goes to priest and Catholic, but it's all across the board. It's not just in one denomination. It's everywhere. So, and it's really, it's kind of scary.
For Protestant ministers, the normal place the abuse takes place is in the counseling office of the pastor.
Yeah.
For the priest, it's in the rectory or in the parishioner's home.
And you've went into churches and you've helped uh, rebuild, and you've helped
Yes,
remove individuals
yes,
that needed to be removed.
yes.
So it's not like you've just written this book without having any, experience. That you've had a lot, many, many years of it.
I'm a consultant to churches who have this kind of problem, and I was a trainer to go in and protect congregations from having this happen.
Yes.
I wasn't always successful.
Right. Well, we can't always be 100% successful, but
No,
pretty darn
no,
close.
no, no, no. But if you know of anybody out there who's listening or is going to listen to this podcast live show, if you know of somebody that's been a victim, please contact me because we're creating a database
Mm.
of people who have offended, who have done what we call clergy sexual misconduct, so that churches who are looking to hire somebody can check the
Yes.
database to see if
Yes.
their prospective minister is on the database.
That, yeah, right there. That's key in stopping it. That is
Mm-hmm.
key. Why
Mm-hmm.
do you think, now I know why. We were discussing this at dinner too last night. But why do you think that it's so predominant in churches?
Well, you think about the personality of the person who's going to be the minister.
Mm-hmm.
For many people in any helping profession, because ministry is helping profession too, they
Right.
come from a dysfunctional background.
Right.
There are addictions, or there are personality disorders, or they're charismatic, or they're narcissistic. And so they're trying to get their own needs met through the people they're working with.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is really, to me, it's scary, because you think when you're going into a church that you should be able to trust those individuals, and especially, that's a sacred place to go, and where you're most vulnerable when you're in there, because
Yeah.
you're wanting to be closer to God, your religion, everyone in there. So that's a very scary thing. I know that there's sexual predators everywhere, but you always think that there's certain places that are safe, and there's really no place that's safe.
No. What they found doing research is that the more conservative states are more religiously conservative, and they have the highest incidence of searches for sexual content on the
Wow.
internet.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is just crazy. But that's also readily available. I mean, anybody can, right, with social media and everything, the internet, it's right there. They don't
Oh,
even
yeah.
have to leave their home.
No.
Used
The
to,
average age that a child is exposed is age 11.
yeah, I believe that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's always entertaining and fun and informative and full of knowledge whenever I have you on the show. I love having you on. Do you think that there's anything that we left out with tonight? I feel like it flowed really nicely with explaining everything. If anybody's watching, if you have any questions, type them in. And if you watch this in a replay and you think of questions, you can type them in here, or you can message myself or Dr. Melanie, go to her website, drmelanieshow.com, or on Facebook, on Messenger. You can
And we
message
have
her.
to say thank you to Bruno for making sure it
Yes.
worked this time.
Thank goodness Bruno was here.
Yes, yes. They
So
need to see his face so they can see who's the technical
I
person
know
behind all this.
he's downstairs. So
Oh,
if
okay.
he would pop up here. Well, he was on
Come
our
on,
live last
Bruno.
night.
Come
He should,
on.
you know what? Actually, we should fire him because he's not been typing in, when you've been giving your website and stuff. And I can't, that's the problem, is when I'm on here, I can't type stuff in because I'm on here. So, well, Bruno,
But you can type it in after.
yeah, I usually do. I go in after. I did type
Hmm.
in your website in the, information of the
Can you
live.
alter the date that you put last night?
I know. I but I still think I'm in September. It's went by so fast. My son's girlfriend actually messaged me and she said, lady, it's October. It's not September. And I was like, did I put
just
September?
just
And
tell her you were having a blonde moment.
I was having an Angie moment, like let's
Yeah.
just throw it out there. Angie has moments that other people don't. And you know what though, Melanie, you had a Melanie moment because I let you read it before I posted it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, well, I hope that everyone has gotten a firmer grasp on how to attract things to you, how to get yourself to a more positive state, how to do manifesting, and the importance of the prayer wheel, your breathing, the breathing exercises that Dr. Melanie showed us earlier was I love those. I love this one. This was like really, I don't know, it's something about, it's almost like you're hugging yourself in a way and having your legs crossed too at the same time. I like it. It just feels comforting. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or?
Just contact you or me if they have questions.
Yeah. Where's your book going to be available? Let's see that.
Well, we're working on that. So
Okay.
it will eventually be available on Amazon, but
Okay.
right now we're trying to decide who we want to publish it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for being on my show. You're always a pleasure to have on. I look forward to having you on in the future. And
Thank you.
yeah. So we'll end tonight, and you're going back home tomorrow, right?
I
So
am, yes.
be safe because with the weather. I mean, maybe we could try and work on. I was trying to work on pushing it. I don't know though. It's such a big system. It's
Well,
ginormous.
I was so much on vacation, I didn't even know about it
I know. I didn't
until you told
either.
me.
Well, Mom's the one that told me about it. I'm like, are you serious? Because I was going to do a event this Saturday, and I thought, well, not going to be able to do that now because it's going to rain out. So at least it's not a hurricane. So.
Yes, yes.
But everyone's saying thank you, and some people came in late, and they're going to watch on the replay. So,
Okay,
well,
sounds good.
you have a good night, and I know I'll talk to you soon. And thanks for
All
everybody
right,
for tuning in. All right.
all
Good
right.
night.
Bye, bye.